Hi everyone, welcome to another episode in this Player Spotlight series as we near ourselves to the trade period for the end of 2020. And this one is a name that's just popped up over the last few days, really. Pom, we're talking about Mr. Quinton Narkle. Why? How did his name pop up? What's happened?
Well, according to reports, Geelong are looking to jettison some players. And surprisingly, Narkle is one of them names that has been shopped around. I mean, Geelong's team is older than Dad's army, so it's a surprise they're jettisoning younger players. But Narkle is one of them players that has never quite broken in and owned that spot, whether it be through injury or the fact he's got Dangerfield and Selwood to compete with for midfield time. But this is an intriguing one, this with Narkle, because he has the X factor. For me, he's very Jack Martin-esque. He's shown it in glimpses. You know his ceiling can be high, and it's just getting it on the park week in, week out. He's had his injury concerns. He's been available for most of the year and just not played. For me, this is going to be a cheap pickup. But you look at his game, he's a high tackle pressure player. He loves to get involved. He runs through the midfield. He likes to rest in the forward line. He's had his history of snagging and bringing players into the game. This would be someone that I would say Teague would love to integrate into the side because he has a lot of talent. There is no getting away from it.
Yeah, look, it's interesting because you look at Geelong, you look at the fact that Gary Ablett, like we know it's his last year. It's been made very clear. So you would assume that Narkle could just step into that role. I did see the report the other day about it. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it's a little bit more of it's just a ploy for them to put his name out there and see if they can get some bites. I'm not sure how much to read into this. How much truth are you putting to this? And do you think Geelong have given up on him? Because I mean, he was highly touted and I've seen him play well. He's very talented. I know that there are the injury concerns and, you know, a lot of them have been soft tissue. So then you start thinking, okay, well, what's his preparation like? Is he a professional? Has he matured? And then my mind starts going, well, you know, Uncle Eddie down at Icon Park can straighten out, you know, the Indigenous boys and they all want to play with him and be around him. And Eddie's really the draw card here if we were to try and get a deal done for a guy like Narkle, right?
Oh, 100%. You look back to the final round last year. That's where predominantly Narkle's best ever game in AFL, 27 touches against us. He had 2 goal assists, 8 clearances. He dominated us around the ground. He showed his talent, and that was in abundance. He has kicked goals as well before. He's not a bad player. For me, Narkle, with that Eddie influence, a lot of these Indigenous players love that kind of family atmosphere. You find that's historic through the AFL. When you've got a good Indigenous core, these players blossom because they are very family orientated. So that bets factor for me could be key. You've seen Jack Martin suddenly blossom into the talent he should have been when he was originally drafted. Narkle, for me, this guy's ceiling's huge. He's an X Factor player. Let's not make mistakes. He's shown it before. This year as well, he's a tackling beast. He had 6 tackles against Hawthorn, 5 of which resulted in turnovers, 4 of which were on Tom Mitchell, who's one of the most evasive footballers on the planet. So for me, he's an intriguing prospect, and he's out of contract this year, so he's not going to be much. Again, it's going to be a fourth round pick. It's not going to be a lot of commodity. And this guy is way above where he was drafted, pick 60 for me. In a normal year, he'd definitely be a top 30 talent. So for me, I like Narkle. He's not going to cost much. And just that Eddie factor, you've got to look at that. Look what he's done with Jack Martin. Look at how these Indigenous boys have developed at Carlton since Eddie's got there. These players are jumping. For me, Narkle could be a superstar waiting to happen.
Where would he play? Because when I think about him and I think about the prospect of him being at the club, all of a sudden, it's literally, I see him as being not dissimilar to the role that Gibbons, Martin, Fisher, Cunningham, Kennedy, when he comes in, what they play. So is that just something that we are right now? We do play guys in 2 positions, and is that just something that the league is doing? Or would Narkle come in and we'd say, here's your small forward, this is him?
I think Gold Coast, I think GWS are the team that you look at for this. You've got Whitfield, you've got Taranto, you've got Hopper, you've got Canelio. These guys float all game. They played a quarter on the ball. One of them goes to the forward pocket. One of them goes to the half-back flank. It's really good for tagging. If you look at GWS, it's very hard to tag them because these players just move around. And it's like, okay, you stop Whitfield, we'll stick him on the half-back flank. Zach Williams runs through the ball. And I think that's what Teague tries to build. He tries to build that flexibility. And Narkle can play on the ball, on the outside. He's played across half forward. He's played in the pocket. For me, you look at his evasiveness and his tackling. I would probably throw him in the forward pocket, give him a baptism of fire with Eddie, say, look, become Eddie. He's got the X factor. This guy is a tackling specialist as well. He sticks his tackles. And that forward pressure is something that Teague loves to build around. So I would see him kind of like what Jack Martin's done for Carlton. He pinch hits in the middle. He comes forward. He gives us that flexibility. But I reckon you could take a punt and put him in the forward line as a pocket. His groundwork is excellent. His tackling is excellent. And he knows where the goals are. He might not score a lot of goals, but when he has had the opportunity, he's snagged. So for me, I think you could maybe use him as a project in the pocket and just live with Eddie and eat with Eddie and just follow Eddie. And he's got that X factor. He's got them quick feet. He's got the candy. I like him. I like Quinton. Big fan.
I think also the fact that he has been in the Geelong system, which we all know has been a successful system. You know, he's trained with some of the all-time greats. I'm not sure how much that would have rubbed off on him, but you can only imagine it. He would be bringing some sort of principle there. I don't think he would need too much development. I could be wrong on that, but the fact that he's been in this Geelong environment is a tick for me. It's not a significant tick, but I look at that as a positive. So it's an interesting one. You said it before. What would it take to get him? Just to confirm, like what would we have to actually give up?
I think you'd be looking at a pick in the 40s to the 60s, third, fourth, probably a fourth rounder, someone who's out of contract. Like that. I mean, they may even let him go to the PSD. You just don't know. I mean, I'd imagine, though, that a late compo pick from us, just a token pick, would get the job done. So for me, it's not going to cost much. And for me, this guy is X factor when he plays. It's just getting some longevity into him. And we can offer that with Russell.
Yeah. All right, guys, your turn at home. What do you think about Quinton Narkle? Yes, no, maybe, why? Leave some detail in your comments. Let's discuss this one.